Alright guys, hi and welcome to a Lefty Knitter podcast. This is episode 9. My name is Aquila. I will be your host today and every episode. Coming to you from Baltimore, Maryland, where I live with my husband, my 2 daughters, and my cat, who has already knocked my camera over twice. It's been 3 weeks, and we have had lots happen in 3 weeks because there was Maryland Sheep and Wool, my birthday, turned 35, Mother's Day, and we took our maiden voyage in our pop-up camper. We have now dubbed it the Boasis. This is a podcast about knitting, mostly, some crochet, some spinning, hasn't been much spinning, and a little bit of all craftiness. Today I have an FO, and a hoe, and some WIPS, and a lot of acquisitions. Those 3 things did not help in the acquisition department. Alright, ready for my finished object? So there's where I was last time, with the little airplane. My daughter, Hazel, is obsessed. She waves to the people on the airplanes, and when it's going away from her, she waves bye-bye. So, these are tube socks for kids. Free pattern on Ravelry. Sorry, they're so pretty on camera. I mean, they're pretty in person, but they're really pretty on camera. I wanted to make Hazel socks. I bought this yarn. It is a Regia 4-ply, color number 3653, and I believe this was called Star Night. Yeah. So this was a 50-gram ball. They don't make these anymore. My cat just jumped off the table. And I decided I wanted to make socks for Hazel, which I didn't want to make socks that had a heel. I was too nervous. Their feet grow way too fast. So, tube socks. They are a little below her knee actually right now. So, it's now almost summer. She probably won't be wearing any socks, especially these now. She is like her mom and likes to be barefoot. You use a size 2 in the pattern, and I actually really love the fabric I was getting with a size 2. It's a little bit airy. You probably can't tell. It's a little airy. But I actually think I might want to try making myself a pair of socks on size 2s. I was talking to Evelyn about these. Actually, I was posting on her podcast group. Thistle Hollow is her podcast. And we were talking about socks. My mom's diabetic, and she says that my knit socks that I make her always feel really great and squishy on her feet. I might have to try making her a pair in the size 2 needles. It's like just real squishy. I love it. So I'm going to try making her, I think, a pair on size 2s to see if they feel any better, and then they would actually be a quicker sock. And yeah, so I did a Turkish cast on. The leg is all in 40. So she'll be able to wear those a little bit longer than a sock with a heel. Every time I would get them out to try them on her, she would like point at her feet because she knew these were hers. And I did these 2 at a time on like a 40-inch circular size 2. I said size 2 like 18 times. I have 19 grams left. Those would be great in some scrappy socks. So these are going to go in my bag of finger weight sock yarn scraps. That was my only FO this week. I have a hoe. Ready? Here it is. Look. Ah! Here's where I was last time. I had not turned the heel, so I was kind of like here-ish, I guess. I did a fish lips kiss heel. These are just a cuff down. No, I'm not following any pattern really other than using the fish lips kiss heel. These are for my husband. So I just did, it's a 68 stitch on size 1s. I was here. Wasn't thinking when I did a fish lips kiss heel because the pretty color stays here, here, here. And then when you pick this up, you get this harsh line. Oh well. Oh well. The other one will match because I'm gonna just do it the same way. Yep, but this is a Crazy Zauber ball. Here it is. He had picked this out when we went to one of our local yarn shops because he really liked it. This is 60 grams, so I used 40, and this is 60, so I'm gonna have about 20 grams left of this probably when I'm done. Also, you know, nothing too special. I'm actually doing these on my 9-inch circular Koigu needles, if that's how it's pronounced. See, 9-inch. I have not cast on sock number 2 because I Kitchenered the toe about an hour ago because I wanted to have a hoe. A hoe. He actually really likes them. I tried them on him this morning before I Kitchenered the toe. I'm not sure, being a lefty, if the Kitchener stitch, I need to reverse anything. It doesn't look, it looks like the stitches go correctly and they're not twisted. This yarn is really hard to see on. So there we go. Okay, so I have other knitting WIPs, but they're brand new and you've never seen them before. So I'm gonna go jump here into crochet for a second because you have seen this a bazillion times and I'm not gonna give you all the details again on it because it's ridiculous. It's my yarn baby blanket. Not a baby blanket, but it's like a yarn, whatever. So here's where I was, and here's where I am now. You can see I have it rolled up like a big sushi, and I'm not gonna unroll this thing, guys. It is quite ridiculous, and it's huge, and it's folded in half and then rolled into a big roll, and it's like a big yarn baby. That's all you're getting on this. That's all. That's it. I need to switch colors because that's what I have left to go into my next row. I have had this yarn in my stash that's in this project for a while. And I wasn't sure what to make with it because I've never actually heard of the company, and I'll get the label out and they do self-striping yarn, I think, mostly. I'm not quite sure. They might have other stuff. I think I bought it at a festival at some point. I don't even know. No clue. But this is 716 sock. And they have a bunch of colorways, and actually I used Ravelry to figure out this pattern that the designer used. This sock yarn, not this color, another color. This one's called Worse Than Zombies. And this is a merino nylon. I found the pattern, like I said, using the pattern. I added the yarn to the stash, went to the yarn page for this company, looked at projects that people have done. Now, other than socks, because I bought this yarn not being really a sock knitter, and then when I found the pattern, I still wasn't a sock knitter, so I was like, I'm going to use it for this project. The pattern is called Tyhpoon. It is a paid-for pattern, and it's by Josh Ryks. Or, yes, I'll put the name Ryks. I'm not sure if that's how it's pronounced. He did an episode of Manch with Christy Glass, so you can go see him on that page. And so Tyhpoon is a shawl, and it utilizes one self-striping yarn and one other yarn, whether it's a solid, which mostly I think the projects on there were solids. The coordinating color was a solid, but I guess you could use a speckled or a variegated or a tonal. So I can't give all the details away because it's a paid-for pattern. And so when I had bought this yarn, I didn't notice. So here's my cake broke. My yarn broke. So I have two cakes. So here's one cake, and here's the cake I'm working from. I didn't realize that it has like this almost grayish stripe, grayish purple. So I had only knew it had like the black and the green because that's really what showed in the skein more. So when I bought this yarn to match, I was thinking watermelon. And I had the pattern in my head for almost a year or so, so I knew what I was looking for. And this pink yarn is called Yarn Rescue. The brand is Yarn Rescue. And it's Falkland fingering solid, so it is 100% Falkland wool. 210 yards. I had bought 3 of them because I don't think I knew if I knew how much I needed. All right, so here, let me show you now the shawl. So you cast on with your stripy color, and then you change back and forth between your stripes and your solid. And I can't give much more than that, guys, because I'm not going to give away the pattern since you pay for it. And I have ends everywhere. Sorry. I haven't woven anything in yet, but that's it. So to me, even before I told my husband about my thoughts on it when I bought the yarn and I cast it on, he's like, it looks like a watermelon. And it does. It even has like holes that kind of make you look like, I think, seeds. I don't know, whatever. But see, here's like the dark black that you could really see, and then the green. And then here's that stripe of like a gray purple color. But it works really well, so I'm not complaining. There you go. So there is another WIP, and because I had all socks except for my blanket, and I'd had this in mind to do for, like I had already mentioned, so long because I had the yarn. And stop making so much noise! Sorry. He's supposed to be outside. I have a lot of shawls. I think I've mentioned I have over probably 35 shawls. So now I'm gonna have another. Yay! And isn't that pink pretty? My last WIP to show you is another pair of socks. The socks are called Slippery Slope Socks by Michele Morgan. It is not a, it is a free pattern on Ravelry. It is not a super specific pattern. It gives you the little bit of texture row, and then it tells you to add that whenever you want to add it. So if you want to do it every 5 rows, every 6 rows, or every 2 rows, and then do 8 rows plain knit, and then another 2 rows of the pattern, you can do it however you want to get whatever effect or look you want. So I am actually doing 7 rows of just knit stitches in the round, and then 1 of the pattern. So the yarn I am using is Dog Star Knits. Hi, Jake. The color is Lucky Jenny, and that is named after the Lucky Jenny podcast. So check her out, and check him out because he does small batches. He does not do huge amounts. So when you get a chance to get some, you should get it. And the one thing I want to read this because on the inside of every ball band, I guess yarn band, I'm gonna read it. Ingredients, yarn, and they're all different. So you gotta when you get this yarn, you gotta check it out because it's pretty funny. Warning: unofficial studies have suggested that prolonged exposure to this product may make you more fashionable, better looking, and cause kitties and puppies to like you more. This is super cute. I love it. So if you buy some of his yarn on his Etsy shop, you have to make sure you check out the inside of your ball band. All right, back onto the socks. Okay, so green is my favorite color. Green is also the birthstone color. It's Emerald of May, and I'm a May baby. So here it is, all caked up and pretty. Look how beautiful that is. Beautiful. Love it. Oh my gosh. As soon as I saw this, when Lucky Jenny did her podcast about it, I bought some right away. So I am actually doing 2 at a time socks, size 1s, because they're on my Addy Turbos. And I have 1 cake, and I'm pulling from the inside and from the outside. So yay, yarn management. All right, so toe up. And I'm not sure how well you can see, but here's that little slipped stitch pattern. Sorry, yarn everywhere, because, you know, 2 at a time, you gotta manage it, man. You gotta manage it. So there you go. Look how cute it is. So I have not decided if I'm going to do a traditional heel flap in these or a fish lips kiss heel. And yeah, they're awesome. And Jake, your yarn is very nice to work with. This is the Merino 7525 Merino nylon. It is very squishy. It has a great twist to it. It's not too tight and it's not too like airy and lofty. And I don't have any problems. Here's the back side so you can kind of see how it knits up and see the pretty colors all in it. Yeah, it's beautiful. Great tonal yarn. Great, love it. So, yeah, these were my treat myself socks, and I'm getting everybody else's done before mine. Oh well, whatever. It is what it is. So that's all the projects I have to show you. Like I said, it is a very heavy acquisition episode. Alright, so I'm going to go in order. And this acquisition was not even part of any of the things I've been talking about, because I woke up and I couldn't sleep, and I went on Etsy and I saw that Amy from Stranded Dye Works, and she has the Stranded podcast. She's over in the UK. Her update, it was not an international friendly update, so it was you know, super in the morning for us. She still had some yarn, and I bought it. And actually, it was really great price and for shipping and everything. Here is her card. And if you haven't checked her out, she is hilarious. Like, I can't wait for every week to watch her podcast. She is funny. Like, I wish I was that funny. She has so many colorways that I really, really like, and I was really excited to actually see this colorway. I would have preferred it actually already in a skein of yarn, but this is perfectly fine because I can easily do that, or I can just knit from the sock blank, because I've knit from sock blanks before and I don't find it bothersome whatsoever. This is a 75/25 merino nylon, and it's 464 yards, and it's called Flamingo Legs, and I love this color. Every time she shows it on her podcast, I get giddy and I want it really bad. And I said, mine, it's mine. I'm gonna open it up because I can, because it's mine. Look at this. Look at this. And it is beautiful. I love it. Next is Maryland Sheep and Wool, and I'm just going to show acquisitions now. I will talk about actual sheep and wool like stuff later. Almost everything I bought is in this bag. And I bought this bag. Andy made this. Ah! David Bowie! Oh my gosh. You have... Okay, if you've been watching my podcast from the beginning, you know that I'm a huge David Bowie fan, and I had to make David Bowie socks from the Starman colorway that I had. And she had a bunch of different size bags. I opted for the large one. It's huge. It's huge. I mean, it's as big as my head. It has pockets on the inside. I can show the inside after I take all my acquisitions out. Let's start. Another indie dyer that I follow religiously on Instagram, and her yarn company is called On the Round. On the Round. And this is her signature sock yarn. And this is called Speckled Time Travelers. It's beautiful. I've been following her for so long. I actually made a list of all the colorways that I was like, oh, I want that, and I want to look at that, and I want to look at that. I think I wrote every colorway down. It's awesome. Another booth I had on my list that I knew I had to hit up, and I've already bought a sock blank from her before, and I made my daughter a tunic dress, which will probably more fit like a tunic shirt now, but that's okay. And that's Knitting in Color. Well, a lot of the podcasts that I watched that people went to Maryland Sheep and Wool, people were buying the whiskey and wine colorway, which I also really liked. You have to go on her website and check it out. But this is her Cinder and Smoke colorway. Too pretty, guys. Too pretty, like seriously. Look at that. And this is her acoustic sock, which is 80/20 merino nylon, 400 yards. Here's my button. Aquilladahun. It needs to be rewritten on there. It's quite a mess. I found On the Round. Her name is Rachel. Hi, Rachel. Okay, here's the inside of the bag. I still have another yarn acquisition, but I'll show you. Look at that. Purple with pockets. And the top of the pockets are done in the same Bowie fabric. Look, I'm pulling a pocket out. Super, really nicely made bag. Now I can use it because I took all the stuff out of it. And look how cute they are. They aren't full skeins, but this is Marigold Jen. They're called halvesies because they're half skeins. So they are 230 yards merino nylon. So they're 50 grams. This is called Tealicious. Another one of my favorite colors. I love teal, I love green, I love blue-green, I love green-blue. You get the picture. And Lucinda. And these look so pretty together. I might have to do some sort of crazy striped sock. Yeah, some sort of striped sock. Or maybe shortier socks and do heels, cuffs, toes in one, and then heels, cuffs, toes. Whatever. I don't know yet. I'll figure it out. I also bought, I needed these because I did not have, I have some small scissors, but I wanted some cute ones. So I bought myself a pair of scissors. And they're just green. They're green. I can't cut with that hand. What am I doing? Bop, bop. They're super sharp. Holy cow, look at that. Don't focus on me. Focus on the scissors. Nope, it's not gonna. One more thing from Maryland Sheep and Wool. I didn't get the name of their booth. They carve art pieces, ornaments, wall plaques, sculptures out of beeswax. Here's the little card on how to take care of it. So I bought this little nutcracker from my friend's little boy Chase. He loves nutcrackers. Very reasonably priced for all the work that goes into it. Because, I mean, how do I hold this guy to show you? Okay. That is pretty detailed for this tiny little guy. And you can see how big he is in the palm of my hand. It's $2. I don't think that's bad at all. And they smell like cinnamon. It's so crazy. So our kitchen is done in Eagles. Bam! I bought him for our kitchen. And I love him. Oh my god, he's so cool. And he was only $7. I'm very upset though. He did end up breaking. You can see that I super glued him back together. You can probably really see it on that side. Okay. I just super glued it. They said to clean these, you just little bit of soap and water. You can put them in the attic. He said you could keep them in your attic as long as your attic's not like 500 degrees and they won't melt. I just thought that was amazing. I think he's there every year. This is the first time I've bought something though. Birthday happened. My stepdaughter got me my Doctor Who shirt. And she got me these awesome pair of Vans that are like flannel and they're like orange and black plaid. Oh my god, I love them. They're so not work appropriate and I wore them to work because I don't care. And then for Mother's Day and my birthday, it was like a combined, I got some Lolo Did It. Now I have to reach because I didn't bring it over here. I am winning. Okay. I always adore all the hippo colorways, and I would have loved hippo for St. Patrick's Day, but they sell so fast, and if you don't get on their site, I jokingly said, hey, to my husband, hey, Hazel could get me some hippo for Mom for Mother's Day. So this is Lolo Did It. Most people have heard of this yarn, and this is hippo for Mom. And I got some. Squishy face. So on top of hippo for Mom, I also got Bohemian Rhapsody, and look how fun that is. I believe this is one of her 80s colorways. I think she does a line that's like 80s. I could be wrong. Then she does Walking Dead colorway, and she has an I Love Daryl. Now, if anybody knows me outside of the podcast, we read The Walking Dead, and we do watch The Walking Dead. Daryl's not a real character. Spoiler alert. He is not in the comics. Bam. Although everybody loves Daryl because he's Daryl, you know. Yay, that's a fun green colorway, isn't it? Green all the way for me. And the sun is like getting brighter and it's blowing everything out. So yes, I got some Lolo Did It. Never knit with Lolo Did It before, and I am super excited. All right, let me get my husband. We're gonna talk about life, sheep and wool, maiden voyage in our pop-up camper. And I want to talk about some of the podcasters I met. Okay, so life stuff. Figure we'll talk a little bit about Maryland Sheep and Wool first.
Sure.
And I want to talk about some of the podcasters I met. And sorry, I'm going to go fast because I know I've already talked a lot. So, 1, Brooke. She does a Knit Soul podcast. She also has a yarn dyeing company. And this is her company, Fully Spun. She gave us samples at the podcaster meetup. She actually dyes the roving. I know, you're going to have nothing to say.
She handed me one, and I handed it back, and I didn't know you were supposed to keep it. I was like, I thought she was just showing off her yarn. So
no,
if you think I'm
sample.
disrespectful for giving you your stuff back, I thought that's what I was supposed to do.
So she hand dyes the roving and the fiber, and then she gets it mill spun. So you get some really fun, it looks like hand spun yarn versus just dyeing it. So it barber pulls a little. And I saw some of her stuff knit up, her and her sister on her podcast, and it actually goes in like some of it, not all of it maybe, looks like it goes in like a gradient, and it's really cool. So there's number 1. Then we met Barbara from Flame and Fiber, and John was all excited because he was like, she knows who I am.
Yeah.
She was like across the room, and she was like,
live from the Serengeti.
So she has a podcast, and it's Flame and Fiber, and she made little stitch markers, and they're super cute. She does like glass, I don't know what it's called, I'm really terrible, but she makes them. They're really cute.
And she's hilarious.
She's really funny. She's so much fun. And then I met Maria from Ninja Chicken's podcast. I also met Jenny and Devin from The Handmade and Woolen and Rib Magazine. And then, that's a funny story because she thought you were David. So sorry, Laura. Laura Smoot, she gave me some stitch markers. I think we really confused her because she walked up to Jake and I, who were talking, who is Dog Star, and I talked about his yarn earlier, and she thought you were
She asked
Dave
me if I was Dave, and
from,
I was like,
think,
yeah, man.
the Dog Dare
totally
podcast,
Dave.
and then she was confused, thinking it was, then she thought Jake was Dave.
Something.
And then she thought me and Jake were married. It was funny, but she gave me stitch markers, and it was really cute. So she has pugs, and that's her little pugs. They're shrinky dinks. They're so cute. So, and then, of course, we met Jake and his wife, Ray? Is that her name?
She's awesome.
She was really nice. She's a knitter, and he's the dyer. They might be starting a podcast if they can make time in their schedule. And they're not far from us either. Everybody was close. You know, Brooke's down in Virginia, Barb's in Pennsylvania, Jake's they're in Pennsylvania. I'm not sure where Laura's from. And so it was really neat. And then I met a viewer, and she was coming to stalk all the podcasters, and her name was Stephanie, and I now have make sure...
I know her from somewhere.
Yeah.
Somewhere.
We didn't find her doppelganger. She was asking if you found her, let her know, remember?
Yeah, because I think
She
she's
looks familiar.
It. Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So, she does a lot of sewing. Oh my gosh, some of her sewing on her Instagram is beautiful. She just made a shirt. I want to make clothes. Okay. And then Ashley, who works at Woolworks near us, a local yarn store. I talked to her because we've talked to her plenty of times in the shop. And her and her friend Tara are starting their own podcast that's starting this month. And I think I wrote it down. Hold on. It is called The Misadventures in Knitting. So go check it out. I think it's on iTunes, and I think it starts tomorrow. The first episode, they're dropping it tomorrow.
iTunes?
Yeah, a lot of people, well, that's kind of how, like, podcasts started, iPod, podcast.
Yeah, we don't have Apple products because screw the man.
Stop.
I mean, I don't care if Apple gets offended. Oh yeah, I do have to pay for Apple products.
Yeah. Okay, so that is Maryland Sheep and Wool. What up? Do you have anything else to talk about? I
haven't talked about anything at all.
Okay, Maryland Sheep and Wool.
But I can leave. Let's go.
We had fun. It was cold. You definitely had to wear some hand knits. You didn't wear any. Hazel did.
Yeah.
She had a good time. She wore her snow boots because we don't own rain boots. We're terrible parents. And
why buy rain boots when we have snow boots that she wore twice all winter?
True. And they kept her feet warm and kept them dry from the mud.
She found puddles, and she likes puddles. And I kind of like puddles too, so it was pretty awesome.
And then she fell asleep during the sheep.
So you're ready to move on from sheep and wool already? I've got to show my acquisitions.
Oh, go ahead.
Did you already show all this crap on here that you spent all of our monies on?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Cool. Okay, show me.
I will forever shout out to my favorite vendor at every single one of these things that we go to.
What's her name? You're really terrible.
I don't have
names,
brain cells left.
Okay.
They all go.
Show what you
buy. But
buy.
you know what I do
time.
remember is this every time. I saved it for this little podcast because I will forever shout out Love, Happiness, Sangria.
Does it have her name? Dragonfly Winery, Mount Airy.
Yes, the sweetest ladies you'll ever meet. They're not at Shenandoah, but they're always at Sheep and Wool, and they're always at the Alpaca Festival. And you can research their hashtag. I think they're at Team Sangria, but then it shows up as Love Happiness Sangria. It's weird. Instagram's silly. But you'll always find me with a picture wherever we are going, being the wino that I am. They've got like 4 different kinds now. And they're awesome.
They're
every
really
time.
good. Every time.
They always get awesomer.
This is still the best one. This is still my favorite.
That one's
The
still your
original.
favorite?
The original.
Do you want to drink all of it?
No.
Let's have a drinking competition. Can she do it? Come on. Quill.
Stop.
Quill.
No.
Quill.
No.
Quill.
Okay.
Quill.
Show your fuzzy thing.
Frank.
Show your fuzzy thing.
So I bought something for me this year for once that I have never been able to like justify spending the money. And I'm pretty excited about it. I was out there fitting it few moments ago, but I got a dead animal.
Really?
Yes. This is
Sheep.
a sheepy. And it goes on my motorcycle seat. And the only way I was able to justify it is I'm going to be going to my club's national rally up in the Finger Lakes of New York. So it's like almost to Canada. Blue Jays suck. Sorry if you're out there. I just went to the Orioles Blue Jays game last night.
Didn't we win?
Yeah, we won, but I can never not say. I'm not saying what I want to say because there's bad words involved.
Okay, then don't.
But
Cito sucks.
Cito sucks. Never forget. But yes, so this guy, I don't know if you have like philo vision, but my little tuchus is gonna be super soft, but I still have to. I mean, my tuchus has never been a problem on my bike, but that'll make it better. The problem is I have like ape hangers, and after 5 hours of driving like that, I won't be able to have any. Everything's gonna hurt. So I'm ready for that. But if that little piece of comfort can help my tushies, then yeah.
All right.
So I got it from. Do you have their card still?
You have it somewhere.
I have it somewhere. Well, then you know where I would have put it, which means you would have moved it, which means I will never see it again.
If we find it, we'll put it on the thing.
It's the guy that has like the slippers
The
moccasins and the boots and the
inside the main exhibition hall.
He's pretty awesome and he's pretty nice.
Yeah, they were really, really nice.
He sold me a
thing. Yep. All right, so that was Maryland Sheep and Wool.
That was that.
And then Frederick Fiber Festival annual number 2 is coming, and Brooke's going to be vending there, so you should go and check her out. Fully spun.
Oh, she's gonna be there?
Yeah.
Oh,
so you can apologize there.
Yeah.
And then Shenandoah Fiber Festival, which is at the end of September. Berryville, Virginia.
Dude, let me tell you
Don't
that,
talk
like,
a mouthful.
that one's fun. Like, I almost hope that you guys don't come because I don't want it to get too popular because it's pretty cool. It's just like but that totally come because if you don't come, then it might not exist, and I love going there. So it's like by Harper's Ferry. If you've never been to Harper's Ferry, it's awesome. There's lots to do, and you can go like whitewater rafting or tubing or canoeing or kayaking.
Not at the end of September, but sure.
Do you have the? Yeah, you can do it. You can do it.
So it's a very low key.
Do anything that you put your mind to.
Festival,
yeah,
but still
fun.
has lots of really awesome vendors, and there's a camel.
There is a camel, and it's always fun.
Yeah.
And have you ever seen a camel pee? Because if you go there, I hadn't until I started going there, and I will tell you what, those things can put a man to shame because they can pee. Like, it's like...
Okay, yeah. Okay, yeah. And then they have sheep and goats and bunnies and...
They don't pee nearly as well.
And they have a sheepdog demonstration there, so you can see that. I mean, they have sheep shearing. They have everything Maryland Sheep and Wool does. It's also $5 to get in, but it is not claustrophobic, and you're not feeling like you're elbow to elbow. We get there early, we set up a blanket and chairs, and then we all kind of hang out. My knitting group, we all have a base camp to come home to, so to speak. Mm-hmm. And it's awesome.
Word to your mother.
And people bring their wheels and actually sit in that field too and spin, and it's really chill. It's really chill. I think we're gonna bring our camp. We're gonna camp, right?
Yeah, we're gonna camp. For the weekend. So party at the Oasis if y'all want to come.
Yeah, and then that's the next thing. We went maiden voyage in Oasis. Mother's Day weekend.
Yes.
It was fun.
It was.
The park was really nice. We
Clitoris State Park.
Cadoris
State Park.
And it's in Pennsylvania. It's near Hanover. Really, really nice.
Yeah.
Really, really busy, apparently, after Memorial Day. So if you want to go then, they have a big pool and like a water park-ish area and a lake that we never found.
All right, so like,
but it was wet and raining that weekend.
There was like, we went on this trail to find the lake, and the trail touches, or the lake touches two parts of the trail and two different, and like touches over here and it touches over here. Well, somehow we ended up over here and ended up leaving the state park and ended up in somebody's field. But hey, an adventure's still an adventure.
Yeah.
So
Hazel found puddles. It was all good, and then she fell asleep.
Yes.
On the walk home. She is like a sack of potatoes. Yeah. Camping was fun though. And we made hobo dinners. Learned how to make charcoal out of carrots. Yeah. We burnt them.
A little bit. Oops. Yeah.
It was still good.
A little bit.
And had breakfast. We made breakfast.
Ooh, that was good.
Scrambled eggs and sausage.
We had this like new hipster thing, like made out of like yeast and water. It was called beer. I don't know if you've ever had any of it. We had that and music, and I found out we were those people because I went to make a pee-pee, and the pee-pee place was like 10 spots away, and like while I was inside making a pee-pee, I could still hear our music. So I came back sternly.
And turned it down.
And said, we can't be those people. We need to turn it down.
Nobody complained. And there was tons of families and kids on bikes. And I can't wait till Hazel gets a little older because she's going to be so much. She loved it anyway.
Was awesome,
but I mean,
yeah. And it rained the entire first day. So I think that was perfect for like the maiden voyage.
To figure it out.
It was wet and it was cold. But we
muddy.
stayed dry and warm. And a bit.
And then, what did we do today?
Today, we changed our oil in our motorcycle.
We went to Chapel Hill Farm Nursery.
Oh, yeah.
We've never been there, and my friend Amanda told me we have to go. And we went. And it's not far from us. It's in Perry Hall, Maryland. Right, Perry Hall.
Yes.
And they had horses, Clydesdales, and they had goats, and they were so fun and friendly, and all Hazel wanted to do was look at the sleeping pig. But we bought all kinds of good stuff. I bought some raspberry pretzel dip, and that was good. It has mustard seed in it. You would think that's really weird, but it's actually really good. And then we bought some bacon, egg, and cheese bread.
Whatever that is.
We're going to try it. Bought some flowers, bought some veggie plants for the garden, bought some maple syrup.
Bought some fat-free Vidalia onion dressing.
Homemade.
So that would be cool.
Yeah. And then,
And some syrups. Some maple syrups.
Yeah.
That was good too.
That's like everything except... So we've been watching we watched a bunch of different stuff, but 2 new things, American Gods.
Yes.
That's on Stars.
Yes.
It's based off of a book, and I read...
No idea what's
I listened to the book, and I thought the book was strange. So the show was quite strange also. I mean, we'll see.
Yeah.
Stars usually doesn't disappoint.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't bad.
No, it wasn't bad.
It's just weird. If you ever want to see somebody, the guy from Mad Men get sucked into a lady's hoo-ha, it's the show for you. So, it's not me being inappropriate. That's just me telling you what the show is about. I mean, it's about more than that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But,
yeah,
it definitely happened. Spoiler alert!
And then...
we watched something awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. It was PBS, actually. Who knew that they were still a thing? This show is called American...
Epic. And it's
Epic.
not really a show. It's a
four-part mini-series.
It's like a 4-part documentary, maybe?
Yeah.
Because it's not really I mean, it's a story, but it's not really like a storyline type story. It's more of a documentary.
Yeah. It's about like the beginning of music, and it is bad.
Beginning of music in the United States.
Yeah. So the first episode, not to tell too much, is like they started off in Appalachia, and it was pretty cool because like
all the mountain
it told
music.
you about how the record companies, and they started coming out with 78s. They marketed them towards like the upper middle class, and then they were doing good, and the Great Depression happened. And they weren't buying them anymore, so they had to like extend their market. So they went to Appalachia and sent people down there with the premise of the main goal was to get them to buy records and get them to buy record players so that they could play records. But what they came upon was a bunch of mountain folk that
musicians.
It's tricky because they had no TV, they had no radio, they had no ways of knowing what music was, but here they are, like
making awesome music.
Yeah, it focused on the Carter family, which was June Carter Cash, like Johnny Cash's wife, her parents.
Family. Yeah.
And
yeah, it was really cool that just all the old footage that they show, and Jack White talks on it. There's a bunch of musicians,
Nas, the
new
rapper.
musicians that talk on it, and they actually recorded a whole CD of music, of doing the old music, new people.
Style, yeah. So like you're getting ahead because the second part of that show, they went to Memphis and talk about
Beale
how
Street and
the blues started with the old Memphis jug bands and stuff like that, and it was crazy because Nas the rapper was in that part, and he was like, dude, all this inappropriate stuff that you think rappers talk about started with this, and then
talking about
cocaine
smoking coke.
Well, they were smoking cocaine, and they were
drinking, and
I didn't know, like, I don't know, for some reason you think that cocaine had like a big hit in like the 80s with Pablo Escobar and stuff like that. I didn't know cocaine was as prevalent back in the 20s, you know what I mean? I knew heroin was and opium and all that stuff, but I never knew that. It's a great show. It's pretty rad, and there's three more coming. Yeah. And the next one's going to be how gospel like gave you R&B. So the next time you're sitting listening to your Sade with your Chardonnay and your candles on, you get to thank gospel for that. So
it's pretty awesome. We are huge fans of all types of music, I would say. And just seeing how it kind of all started and comes together is just pretty awesome. Yeah. And we found it through Third Man Records, who was Jack White's record label, and he's been big part of, I think, helping put this together. Yeah. And they had posted
by
it on
sponsors like you.
Because it's so funny. Like, you watched PBS when you were little, and like they talk about this, and they still say it. No, it was pretty funny. Yeah. So that's about all we got. I another episode down.
I gotta go ride my motorcycle now.
Yeah. Knit happy?
Shabba ding dong.
Thank you.
One day, dude. One day.
To all the returning viewers.
Yes.
And thank you to all the new viewers. And I totally forgot. I met Christy Glass. I totally forgot to mention that. And she interviewed me. So check that out. And I know that I got a lot more subscribers because of that, and that's really freaking awesome. Yeah. And I love this community. Sorry. I do.
Don't cry.
I'm not.
Do I need to fucking...
Okay, knit happy.
And once again, as usual, I'm sorry for anybody that I offended.
Oh my gosh, every time.
Go Birds.
Bye, guys. Where's your button?
On my jacket.
2007! We're in the Tyhpoon Wool Festival!
What she tried to say. We are on our way.
Hi!
We let our kid dress herself this morning. What do you think?
She looks cute. She has her sweater to wear eventually.
She's got all kinds of stuff. She's got like 17 outfits with us.
Yeah, well, you know.
It's gonna be a muddy
day.
It's gonna be like the Woodstock of yarn.
Oh, God.
I personally plan on getting naked by 10 o'clock and sliding in the mud.
Oh, jeez. Wearing my flax light. Got my button. Aquilladahun. Hazel has her flax sweater. John don't have a sweater.
I don't get no flax.
Alright, well, we're on our way. Yay! Alright, guys. The first paid sheep and wool festival, and here's the line. It is 8:10. We are kind of tailgating, waiting. We are not in line yet, but it's gonna go past us. You like that? Yay! Can you clap? Clap! You know how to clap. Thank you!
about my list of 57 podcasts that I watch and love. And
The dog people? No. The dog people? The dog people!
Dog star. I'm like, David. No, that's not it. Dog. Yeah, he's the dog star guy.
I'm not
I know. Isn't that exciting? I just been.
See, and when you give away my yarn.
And I'm almost 17.
See, now it's on video, so now I have to give her the yarn. I was going to totally ditch on her.
Yeah, well, you know. All right, well, we wanted to say hello.
We're having a blast.
Yay!
Wish you guys were here.
Yeah, you got lurker. All right. See you guys later.
Take care.